I'm going to interject a few more things, my observations. I'm going to say right off the bat, and I said this many times before, the two people I respect a great deal is Mark Farber and Jim Rogers. Definitely. Now, I want to say something about some of the people. I don't know, maybe that's a negative thing, but I got to come out with it. First off, um, Lindsey Williams, right? Yeah, I know the. Well, I don't know what kind of ego thing he's on, whatever. Too, I think there's a little bit of that too. Um, he definitely is getting bad information now because the longer I go past his timeline, and I don't care about this stuff about the elite could be wrong and the elite backed off. No, 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 no. That's not true. When he's being told something specific like that about oil, and you're talking the end of the time frame, he's talking about a time frame between April and October of 150 to $200 a barrel, right? Well, here it is February. It's sitting around 101. Yeah, maybe things will heat up and he'll run back on Alex Jones and say, "See, I told you." Great. Well, I also picked up about the 75 to $100 silver, which I kind of figured it would float up in the low 40s again already by the end of the end of the year, but obviously not. That was deliberate. He's being told lies for sure. There's no doubt about it, but he's not being told all lies because the political events that he's being told go like clockwork. But some of that stuff's been out through other ways, not just Lindsey Williams, that it's available. As far as the hit list on the oil producing nations in the Middle East, a lot of that's been available, without a Lindsey Williams. It's been known for some years. It's not really conspiracy theory because it was blatantly said by some high up general. So, but when he was being told about the 75 to $100 silver by the end of the year, that was deliberate misinformation because, and I don't want to pick on Eric Sprott because I think amongst the bad guys, he's the better guy. How's that? Um, he wouldn't have sold his PSLV if it was going up that high. He sold on April 28th, and he sold mostly in August when it was high, August 2011. He also sold in September, and PSLV insiders were selling. And I saw picked up on that other thing on Friday the 13th on looked like PSLV Friday the 13th on January looked like PSLV was dropping a little bit when SLV was going up. Then they did the offering and it dropped good 10% more. That I don't like. So that tells me plenty right there. There's people that know what's going on. Can't prove it, but I mean, what is this? Pure luck, chance? No. I wasn't born yesterday, so I got to go by what I think. And I'm trying to help people on here. I'm telling you that right now. I am. So when you listen to BC, I won't even say his name. It goes on AJ's show. I'm going to tell you right now, that guy's throwing out, I think, in my opinion, he's throwing out disinformation on purpose all the way. Or he's just somebody selling bullion. I don't know. Because he's been in this business a long time. He knows far more about gold and silver than I would. He knows what kind of markups and stuff and what kind of trends it goes into and all kinds of things. The guy is not stupid. For him to give out some crazy predictions, pie in the sky, way the hell up there like that, he's throwing people off. And he goes on these channels like SGTV Bull, whatever the hell it is, and all these people are listening to this crap. That's why I say the little guy's getting set up. That's why I think that it is being set up. And I know, like Brother John F. and stuff, he's got no bad intentions or nothing like that. But I don't know if he's been reading the right information or what. I don't buy into some of these things. I don't know. I guess he wasn't evil enough to be a traitor. Maybe that was a deal. He knows his technical stuff, but I think you gotta have an evil mind to understand some things. That probably, I don't know. Maybe I'm giving you good advice there, right? Anyway, as far as one thing I want to bring out, this is a chart just on a logarithmic. Okay, this is silver going all the way back and all this crap like, and this is oil. And I was thinking about this. I think there's going to be some serious, serious volatility this year. And I know about that person. I said the volume index, that volatility index on leverage. In time, there's going to be certain times that index, that fund is going to go crazy. But I don't know. I mean, right now, maybe it is cheap because everything's sitting flat because everybody's uncertain. So I don't know what the hell the advice on that would be. I'm scared to make moves every time. Actually, every time I feel happy about making it, doing something, buying something, that's usually the bad time. Usually when I'm scared, I do better. It's weird. But anyway, that might be a sign to jump into that. I don't know. But I want to point out something very common sense about oil prices and the general economy. Obviously, I've said this a few times before, when oil prices went way the hell up here to 147 in the beginning of July 2008, we already had the bear stearns and all that crap like that, and silver kind of jumped down, but it was still up there, right? Well, if you take this 2008 July high of oil, here it is right here, right? Here it is right here. There's that silver, right? They crashed together. They crashed together. And we also can look at that global manufacturing index, right? And you've already seen it was going down. Now, my guess is we're heading for, I don't know if it's going to be immediate. See, I'm trying to look for the best deal. I might be missing something. And because I don't know. I don't know. Because I think there's going to be a little hiccup with this euro. And as we speak today, right now, it looks like silver's dropping down some more, So, I mean, if it goes down below 33, I'm probably going to make a bigger bet on USLV. Scary crap, but I will. And but there's one thing I want to point out too about the general industry that's out there, because platinum and palladium are like general industry, just like silver, just like silver, general industry materials. And the auto industry isn't really down. And the demand for platinum was way the hell up. There were shortages. They had to pull it out of stockpiles. And there was a record amount of palladium taken, used up in 2011. Yet the Russians, after they spread rumors they had no more left in their stockpiles, they dumped a record amount on the market to drive the price down in November. Does that sound like they're going to drive it way the hell up? Yeah, I think so. But the scary thing is they just lowered margins. So possibly right now, if this euro thing pulls things back a little bit, my guess is to start going in on this stuff with leverage. It's scary, but I don't know. I'm going to say something about this gold-platinum ratio too. This is totally off base still. It was actually up to a point of 15%. Gold was 15% more than platinum. Now, during the 2008 crisis, gold got a little cheaper than platinum back then, but it wasn't that much. It wasn't that much of a difference. And see, that's what gets me about what's going on right now with these metals. Record usage, demand, actual shortfalls in production from platinum out of South Africa. Electrical problems with the the infrastructure and stuff like that. And they got to pull things out of supply, but they raised margins. They raised margins in September and slammed it down harder than they did gold, right? Then they had that other thing with the dumping more palladium on the market after that. In I don't know what it was, in October, whatever it was, November. I forgot what month it was. And they brought it down to like 560. Yeah, I mean, I can't predict these events because there's other guys behind the scenes pulling this stuff. And I guess if you took the Fibonacci, I guess it would have came out, I thought it would be around 585 where it would have went down to. And I think that kind of works pretty well, to tell you the truth, over the long grand scheme of things. Yeah, it's not too bad. Because it's, as being a mathematician type person, I was aware at Fibonacci for like a gazillion years, and it seems to be all over nature. So it kind of rings a chord with me. So, I don't know how well it works over, because you could pick a million different time frames sometimes, But when something is obvious, obvious high, obvious low, it probably works fairly well. But I just want to point out today, so the ratio with platinum, even though platinum ratio, the gold ratio is starting to get better, it's still bad. It's very bad. And that was when there was a total crash in the economy. But things are picking up right now. You can see the manufacturing index is going up. So I think there might be some explosive moves in some of these metals. Not so much gold, but I think it's going to be palladium, platinum, and silver. I think they're going to move very hard this year. But this is the curveball. The curveball is going to be this attack on Iran. If they attack Iran, and say your silver is like $50, I'm just making a number up. Say it's, I don't know, we'll say give it a BC number, 150, right? I don't know, whatever he says, right? If silver was that high, they attack Iran, I would advise people, if you got gains, start getting the hell out. Start getting the hell out. Because maybe not that day, but if oil goes up to like $150 to $200 a barrel, it's going to crash the economy. And I'm going to tell you right now, I think you're going to see these interviews on, I'll name his name, SGT Bull, whatever the hell his name is, BC on AJ show, and they got all these clowns out there. You know what I'm talking about. There's a gazillion of them, right? Oh yeah, well, since it's been $50, I think it can go to at least $75. You know what? I'm not going to knock that it could go to 75 or 80 or whatever. But if the conditions change and there's an attack on Iran, and say for instance Iran, because we don't know. The elite don't even know this. The elite don't know this, I don't think. Say for instance Iran destroys a bunch of Saudi oil fields. Then you kind of know oil is going to stay up for a while, right? I would be getting the hell out of silver. I'd be booked, not all of it, but secure more gains. That would be a good indication. So I want to be more blatantly honest about this, but it depends upon what happens. So like, look at all the events. Just remember this lesson from 2008, what happened. If people were awake, and that's why I say these guys who've been in these markets for like 20, 30 years, they're not telling people this crap. And they know. That's my suspicion. See, I don't know about this stuff. I'm more new to this. I mean, I had some coins and crap. I always had some gold and junk like that. And I always collected some junk, just because I believe in it. But it's the last few years, I recognize, hey, this is the stuff to get into, So I'm in it, and I got stuff, back a few years ago or so mainly. But I want to point out, well, it was more than a few years ago, maybe it was whatever the hell it was. But I want to point out that it was down in these lows and shit, down in here someplace. I don't know, $15, $14, whatever the hell it was. And I want to point out that these guys, they do know. These guys that are experts. And that's why people are listening to them, because they could talk a lot of shit. Well, you know what I mean. They could talk. They know all they know what to say. But they're salesmen. And I swear to God, I know these people are they're pumping up a bubble. They're pumping up a bubble. And if you look like at what goes on like in the mining in South Africa and stuff like that, They always got a fear if the prices go up too high. You know why? Because it'll kill their business. Because they start finding alternatives. That's why it could go really high due to inflation or psychological panic. I mean, a bubble can go really high. It ain't a bubble yet. It's got to go at least several times. But what I'm saying is, these guys, these pundits, a lot of them are pushing this price up ridiculously high, and they know what the hell they're doing. You know, so watch out, watch out, watch out. And the only reason I survived around some of these people is because I got the kind of head that's made them survive and had them make money. So I'm just telling you one thing: watch with this oil, because this Iran thing is coming up, and I don't know when. I know they know when. They got a plan. That I'll believe. I think they got a specific date when they're going to do it. And obviously some people are going to make a hell of a lot of money on that. I don't know if I'm going to be in or out. But I figure, you know, silver might be up pretty high by then. Maybe it'll be up to 40 or 50 or something like that. It'll be up pretty good. And if this oil, let's just use the same warning from 2008, it might crash. It might crash the damn economy, which will crash the oil prices, and that'll crash the silver. So it could be repeated. I mean, I'm not saying it has to be that way, but do observe conditions as they go along, because I've been noticing that all these people that make these predictions, they're very brave about making high predictions when it's going up. They're very timid about making any kind of high predictions when it looks like it got slammed down. That's why I'm only listening to Mark Farber and Jim Rogers. But I want to interject my opinion in here too. And I think the little guy that's holding the silver is getting set up like a sucker, to tell you the truth. So you know, I would always hold some back, because that's how I think. You know, I think it's going to have some real value no matter what. You know, I think it's a good thing to have as a core wealth. But I'm really more talking about the electronic markets too. And I don't know how much silver sales I'd be making at $50, because I think that's way too low. But I'm talking about I don't think I'd sell any silver physical. I'm talking about the electronic markets. The electronic markets mainly. I'm not talking about the physical. The physical. I think if the physical goes up to $75, $80, to dump a very small portion, like 100 ounces or something like that, where it's hardly nothing, that might be a good thing. You know, I'm going to do that, because it's really like, it's nothing that I consider like hardly anything, you know. So I would dump that just to see, you know, how the process works. And I'd probably buy some of it back if it, dropped to 50 or something like that. But what I'm mainly talking about is electronic markets here. But it is, in as far as the ultimate price, I'm talking about the physical market, because I think these guys are deliberately misleading people, and all these experts are talking to each other, and I think they do know. They do know, because some of these guys are saying some really stupid things that I know they know better. So beware of these clowns.